Hello there, my name is Matthew Pillmore. I'm the president of VIP Financial Education and lead instructor, and it is my great pleasure to show you some of the most extraordinary financial strategies that you may ever learn. The following tactics are extremely effective, they're completely legal, and they're available for anybody to benefit from. However, if you use some of them incorrectly, they can also cause you years of harm. So to avoid that, make sure you complete today's training and then schedule part 2 of the training, which is a free one-on-one phone coaching session with one of our certified experts who will show you how the techniques apply to your unique circumstances. The secret to understanding business credit and accessing these amazing tools is to accept that in spite of what all the business credit companies are selling as a magic potion, there really is no secret. The only reason that business credit companies can claim that there's some big secret that you're missing is because they know that you simply don't understand the steps necessary to just go out and get these tools. Anybody can do it, literally. I have a $50,000 business line of credit that's unsecured, which we categorize as a debt weapon that literally has changed my entire professional career. The business credit industry is drowning in self-proclaimed experts who oversell and make promises which are impossible to fulfill. Without proper knowledge and education, you could invest heavily in solutions that don't fit your needs or get you what you're hoping for. We'll make sure to talk a little bit more about that in this training to help you avoid the pitfalls of common industry sales tactics. Now keep in mind that this is a multi-part training where we're going to dispel the so-called secrets of business credit scores and business loans. The first objective in this short chapter is to quickly review who VIP is and why we're considered the authority on credit scoring, which makes us very valuable to any American who uses banks for checking or savings purposes. Now, we're also going to discuss whether business credit is able to benefit the average person or business owner. And finally, we'll review the must-knows of business credit scores and loans, as well as the exact steps to fast-track your business credit goals. I also want to talk a little bit about how you can expand revenue streams for your business by having access to this knowledge. Now, if you appreciate the value of the classes that VIP provides, please share the website with your friends, family, clients, and coworkers, and review our residual income training to learn how you could be paid up to 6 figures residually as an affiliate by sharing these powerful classes with people you know. Let's briefly review VIP's credentials and why we are so honored to be sharing with you. We were originally founded in 2000 by banking and real estate leaders with over 400 years of combined industry experience and expertise. Now, at that time, we started collecting feedback forms from viewers like you, which helped us build the trainings that are here today. And yours will help us know what to keep and what to improve for next time. So please make sure and give us your feedback as well. It's also because of visitors like you who care about others and share these classes with their loved ones, their clients and their coworkers, etc., that we're currently seen in over 15 countries and we're able to bring them to you for free. Similarly to our other trainings, we'll even provide you a second part to this training, which is completely free, and that's the free private one-on-one phone coaching hour with a certified expert who will help you start your plan to practice the powerful techniques that you learn in the trainings and more. Now, this, of course, comes as a token of our appreciation for completing a few brief feedback questions at the end. Although only 6 out of 10 people do qualify for our ongoing coaching service, everybody is able to get significant value from the free session. So I encourage you to learn more about VIP at aboutvipfinancialeducation.com, where you'll find countless reviews from people that may be just like you, who have had varying success using these strategies that you're going to be learning by going through all of our trainings. Now, to date, we've built our trainings for thousands of different companies and individuals, providing both online and on-site classes. And we do so completely free of charge, just like you're participating in now. The information that we teach has become so popular that organizations of all sizes have asked us to build similar education for their employees and their members. And you can see a few of them here, companies like NASA through FFW or Chicago Title. We've done big churches, many of the largest real estate agencies, including RE/MAX Professionals, and we've also found a great home with countless real estate investor associations, as well as the police department. Now, to verify our reputation further, I do encourage you to see our A+ Better Business Bureau rating, as well as additional information pertaining to our 100% debt-free for life class through NASA. Here's a brief testimonial from Karen Myers about that. She says, "I'm the program director that's been offering the VIP debt-free education to the employees of NASA, and in one word, awesome. We've received wonderful feedback, and we plan to increase the availability of this curriculum. I would strongly recommend this curriculum to anybody." Let's review a couple of housekeeping details, and then we're going to get right into the fun stuff. My mission now is to show you concepts that can change your life. However, there is a lot to cover in a short period of time, which can make it difficult for some viewers to absorb it all the first time through. Therefore, to get the most from this training, please make sure you turn off your phone, remain distraction-free. Also, make sure you take notes and write down your questions, because all of your questions will be addressed specifically during the second part of the training in your complimentary 1-hour phone coaching session. Even if you take advantage of the free session provided in the 100% debt-free for life training, you'll actually get another free session with this business credit training should you want one. Make sure you get both, because you want to make sure that you don't follow the exact steps that we're using to demonstrate how powerful these techniques can be, since your circumstances will be different. Now, don't be afraid to visit the website to review any of our chapters or trainings over and over again with absolutely no registration or obligation. Please note also that this presentation is for educational purposes only, and we do conservatively estimate the numbers in order to help simplify what you're seeing. We always do our best to ensure the accuracy of the education. However, inexactness is realistic and results do always vary. In some cases, we protect names for anonymity purposes as well, unless somebody's given us permission to share who they were in their demonstrations. The training is not a substitute for investment, legal, or tax advice, and it's also not a promotion for products or services. In fact, there's nothing for you to buy here today. We will briefly discuss resources and solutions that are available to those who need them. However, again, you will never be pressured to purchase anything from VIP. For guidance pertaining to your specific situation or the governing laws in your state, please consult with a qualified specialist and make sure you complete your free coaching session from our certified experts. So why business credit? There are seemingly countless reasons to have and use business credit. Anything from debt elimination techniques that are taught in our other training to credit scoring benefits and the obvious of funding any type of business, including real estate investing. I've recruited none other than Michael Stenson from Orange County to help you with your free coaching session. He's a nationally known leading expert on the secrets that every business owner wants pertaining to business credit. Michael and I are going to challenge some of the most commonly used sales tactics so that you can avoid being trapped as you begin your hunt for more business credit. Now, before we do that, I'd like to conceptually prove the value of the information that you're going to get. So through this first part, I'm going to walk you through a case study of somebody that took advantage of all the benefits that are listed in green. Although they accomplished all of these results through a property management company that they owned, these benefits are important to nearly any business owner in any industry. Now, this is somebody in our coaching program. However, they'd prefer that we protect their names in order to help them remain confidential, so that we will do. And the reason this is a perfect example is that we found almost everybody will probably associate with some part of this. In our 100% debt-free for life class, we've designed an easy-to-follow 7-step process, and we've done the same here with a 7-step business credit roadmap. Within the first week of reviewing this training, the first basic step for you, if you haven't already, is to establish a foundation or an entity. This step is very easy. It should take only a short period of time online through your local Secretary of State website, typically for a small cost. Following creating your entity, you'll then need to identify existing fundability and build profiles with business credit bureaus. Some people already have these, and some don't. So it really depends on where you are starting. Let's start by reviewing the chronological expectations of this process. Within 6 months, we hope to open select vendor accounts, which is important to establishing the business credit scores. And within 9 months, we start opening unsecured business credit cards. Keep in mind, many people start with step 5. Within 18 months of step 1, creating an entity, we establish unsecured business financing, which is an incredible tool, and it can be used in a variety of ways to benefit you. For many people, this can happen much sooner. It just depends on how many of these preliminary steps you've already completed. And within 24 months, our goal is to begin using the new business debt weapons to start cash flow stacking, which we review in greater detail through later chapters and trainings. Let's start by reviewing these last 3 steps in order to show you how it was possible for this business owner to acquire unsecured business credit cards and then later establish unsecured business financing. I'll then demonstrate how they invested with business debt weapons and rapidly expanded their business and financial goals. Now, the first thing that we realized was their need to increase personal credit scores, just like in our 100% debt-free for life training with Dan and Megan. Personal credit scores are important, even when building business credit. To raise their scores quickly, we used a little-known technique which involved a business debt weapon. Now, keep in mind, you should never be done looking for more debt weapons. There are about 16 different categories of very effective debt weapons available at any given time. To gain a better understanding of the different types of uses of debt weapons, make sure you watch the 100% debt-free for life training on the website. For purposes of this example, we're going to refer to these students as Tom and Susan. When we first met Tom and Susan, their available debt weapons were limited to just a few credit cards, including 2 small personal credit cards, one with a $2,000 available limit, and the second a $4,250 available limit. Although they had $6,250 of total availability on these 2 accounts, there was already a combined balance of $5,400 in total personal debt that was borrowed from that availability, which means that the original utilization ratio, the amount borrowed compared to the amount owed, was at 86%, which is a very negative impact to their personal credit scores. 30% of your personal credit scores is determined by this utilization ratio. To determine your utilization ratios, simply use the Cash Flow Cruncher spreadsheet that VIP provides. Would you like your very own copy of this great tool? Simply provide us your brief feedback at the end of today's training, and you'll instantly get your own free copy of this great spreadsheet to use to achieve all your business credit and debt management goals. The higher the utilization ratio, the greater the penalty to personal credit scores. So to quickly help with that, Tom and Susan began by opening an unsecured business debt weapon in the amount of $6,500. Because Tom had the better personal credit scores when we first met them, Susan was unable to open this type of business debt weapon. So Tom used his information only to apply. They then transferred the $5,400 in total personal consumer debts to their new business debt weapon, which cost a total of $162 in balance transfer fees. However, the benefit to that is the new interest rate was now 0%. And because about 9 out of every 10 business debt weapons do not report to the personal credit bureaus, the new utilization ratio became 0. And these 2 joint accounts begin significantly improving the credit scores of both Tom and Susan, thereby working for them versus against them. Let's review all of the benefits of this one step. First, they got a 47-point average FICO increase by taking this one step. Secondly, they prevented interest costs because this debt weapon was a 0% introductory rate. Furthermore, they received insurance discounts because most insurance providers determine their rates based partially on credit worthiness. Therefore, their cash flow increased also. Now keep in mind that when you have a 0% interest rate, 100% of the monthly payment is going to pay down principal. So we look at that as an indirect form of cash flow. Finally, we were able to point them to additional debt weapons as a result of their new credit scores. Their goal was to establish unsecured business financing and increase their business opportunities. Until you've seen all the trainings, it can be difficult to recognize the many opportunities that debt weapons offer, especially business debt weapons. So let's break it down further as we continue with this example. You can see here their personal debt weapons listed, as well as the new business debt weapon of $6,500. Now, after showing them how to accelerate the elimination of their original balances, we helped Tom open a new personal debt weapon in the amount of $9,500. And this was also at 0% on an initial introductory term. And only because their personal credit scores had improved were they able to access this. Simultaneously, Susan now opened a new $4,000 business debt weapon in her name. As property managers, they also own a number of rental properties of their own. One tenant that was renting from them had six $500 loans that she had borrowed through a company called Payday Loans. Now, unfortunately, at that time, Payday Loans was allowed to charge $150 in interest and fees every month on each one of these 6 loans, which totaled $900 in interest and fees every single month. And she'd been paying on this for approximately 11 months with no progress to her principal reduction. The predatory lending elements of this deserve no review. However, let's take a look at the risks that were involved. First, cash flow is obviously a risk, right? And being a single mother of a 10-month-old at that time, this tenant was struggling to pay the rent. I actually met this tenant, very sweet lady, but incredibly emotionally impacted by this. Now, if she ends up getting behind on her payments, Tom and Susan may end up having a costly eviction to deal with. Furthermore, any lapse in tenants would result in expensive vacancy costs. The new opportunity that they found through creative utilization of these new debt weapons was powerful. Now, keep in mind that this specific example is not something that very many people are going to be able to do. However, what I want you to take away from this small portion of this training is that many opportunities open up when you properly utilize these available debt weapons. And here was the opportunity for them. They used from this $9,500 debt weapon $3,000, and they agreed to pay off this tenant's payday loan. Now, by doing so, the $900 in interest and fees every month went away, which gave her a much-needed increase to her cash flow in order to help pay the rent on time every month. They then agreed to modify her lease, whereby they increased her rent by $500 a month for 1 full year, and then they increased the rent by $1,000 the 13th month. And it was predetermined that the rent would return to its original rate on month 14, which encouraged her to actually stay longer. So the total revenue earned over a 13-month period was $7,000, nearly a 125% return on their investment. Arguably, the ROI on this investment was infinite because the original $3,000 that was borrowed was on a 0% debt weapon. Therefore, they spent no money out of their own pocket to make this happen. So let's take a look at the benefits of this example. First, their cash flow increased by nearly $440 monthly during that period of time. Also, Tom and Susan made a total profit of $4,000. Now, obviously, it created the stability for their tenant to pay the rent on time every month. And she went from paying $900 a month with no reduction in principal to paying $500 a month, saving $400 every single month, plus the debt would be paid off in full by the end of that year. The ability for her to do this was extremely meaningful to Tom and Susan because they're caring people and they liked that they could help her out. They were very happy to create this solution for her. The next example of an opportunity that business debt weapons might provide could be considered more common. Imagine for a moment somebody in your sphere of influence who's gone through a short sale or a foreclosure. We all know somebody that's had challenges on their credit. That's very, very common. When personal credit scores get injured, there is something called universal default that happens with credit. Universal default means that credit card companies will universally default their interest rates to a very high rate, sometimes as high as 25 to 30%. However, in many cases, we see people who experience this, but really aren't risky borrowers at all. They make great money, they pay their bills on time. The problem is they just got over their head, typically with some type of an opportunity like real estate or something like that, or maybe even a medical challenge. It doesn't mean that they're not going to pay their bills on time. Many of them are actually great borrowers with a very high cash flow position and are very dependable. Imagine lending to someone and collecting a 15 to 20% interest rate return. Many people have successfully created promissory notes with these types of returns and then used the funds available from a business debt weapon at 0% to satisfy the higher interest rate debt of the borrower that they're working with. Imagine taking someone who has, let's say, $20,000 in consumer debts and is paying at 25 to 30% and then transferring over $5,000 or less lump sum amounts to 0% debt weapons and then charging 15% interest. That's a win-win scenario. You win by earning 15% rate of return utilizing 0% introductory debt weapons, money that's not even yours, and yet you're also protecting yourself legally. If that individual were to default, which is always a risk, you could litigate legally in small claims with notes valued at $5,000 or less. And obviously you'd want to consult with an attorney to get the legal advice on this before doing anything like it. However, it's an example. Now, obviously we don't know your specific circumstances and we can't offer you advice until we go through your one-on-one free coaching session. But what I hope you see is that there are a lot of opportunities when you think out of the box and understand how to access capital through debt weapons. The next portion of business credit includes cash flow stacking and investing with business debt weapons, as well as business development using business debt weapons. As many people know, there are a lot of investment opportunities through life insurance and even real estate in many areas of the country. Tom and Susan acquired a new unsecured business debt weapon for $40,000. Now, this is very similar to a $50,000 business debt weapon that I've been using personally over and over since 2006 for a variety of investment opportunities, both business and real estate. It's a phenomenal tool because, like most other business debt weapons, it does not report to my personal credit report, which means that although this type of line of credit has a personal guarantee attached to it, I can spend 100% of what's available, and it has absolutely no impact to my personal credit scores unless I default, and then the negative history would report. Whereas other types of lines of credit would have minimal access available without starting to harm your personal credit scores. So Tom and Susan decided with their coach to borrow 25% of the purchase price and buy an investment rental property using $31,250 as a down payment. They then borrowed $5,000 more to make basic repairs, which were all cosmetic, primarily because they plan to keep the property as a rental and enjoy the long-term cash flow benefits. Let's evaluate the numbers. A $125,000 purchase price using $31,250 down, as well as $5,000 into fix-up, their new mortgage was $93,750 at 4.75%, which was a non-owner occupied interest rate at this time. They got a $489 principal and interest payment. They also were spending approximately $225 on average throughout the year, each month, for maintenance as well as their taxes and insurance, which meant that after their $1,250 per month rental income, they averaged $536 in cash flow every month. Now, most people I know would do this kind of deal all day long. Don't forget, this is an infinite ROI because the original investment was borrowed from their business debt weapon. They didn't put any money out of pocket. They then start to cash flow stack, utilizing the techniques that they learned through their coach, as well as in our free 100% debt-free for life, including mortgages training. Cash flow stacking increases their investing and debt elimination momentum because they're able to allow their newfound cash flow to work for them every day of the year versus sitting idly in a checking or a savings account for the majority of the month. Now, obviously, this leads to wealth development over time and accelerated debt elimination. The more times they do this, the faster the results take place, eventually allowing them to pay off properties in full every few years. Their final goals were to execute on a much larger business development scale by utilizing additional business debt weapons. You can see the additional business debt weapons listed here in the 7th and final step. At this stage, they qualified for another unsecured $175,000 business debt weapon. Now, although not everybody has a need for business debt weapons this large, nor will most people qualify for them, Tom and Susan had the cash flow to substantiate it. In fact, some people who have the cash flow are able to get far more than this in unsecured business debt weapons, some of which don't even require the personal guarantee. They use that new capital to fund a fleet of landscaping trucks, and they hire 5 new employees. There was a $110,000 upfront cost, but it produced for them a projected $7,800 cash flow each month. Over 16 months with proper cash flow stacking, they were able to become debt-free on the $110,000 that they borrowed, and the benefits included huge cash flow returns. Finally, because of their ongoing company growth, they invest in the protection that they need by utilizing the infinite banking concept, which we teach about in another one of our free classes. These types of life insurance policies were first made popular by an extraordinary man by the name of Nelson Nash. By using their debt weapon to invest in the policy each year, they get a healthy rate of return on the cash value as well as the death protection for the company. Furthermore, over time, these policies can gradually eliminate the need for banking in their lives ever again. If you're interested in learning how you can gradually eliminate the need for banks in your life, please fill out the brief feedback form after the training, and we'll email you access completely free. This, of course, does not substitute for financial advice, so make sure you consult with your trusted professional about the benefits of these tools. If you do need a professional to speak with, we can introduce you to some who have very positive and knowledgeable reputations. Now, this decision produces for them additional liquidity, and it makes it easy for them to invest more money more quickly and safely. So you can see in just 5 quick steps how valuable business credit was to just one couple in one company. And business debt weapons in particular offer a unique variety of advantages. For example, what if you could borrow capital and you didn't need to worry about it impacting your personal credit scores or even your debt-to-income ratios? Over the past decade, VIP has located dozens of different tools to accelerate financial goals. And today, we regularly research a total of 16 categories of different debt weapons. We do teach other intensive courses about a variety of these indicated here in gold, just as we are doing here today with the business debt weapons intensive training. It's important to thoroughly and regularly review a few very basic details about the tools that we refer to as debt weapons. So let's talk about specifics. Here are some examples of business debt weapons, the categories with which we refer our coaching members to on a daily basis. The top half include debt weapons that are provided mostly by the banks, and the bottom half are categories of debt weapons that are often provided outside of the banks. Both of these lists change, and change often. The qualifying guidelines and benefits change as the banking industry modifies itself. So if you're still asking, what the heck is a debt weapon? Simply put, debt weapons are tools that allow you to leverage other products in order to keep your money working for you nearly every day of the year. Not only do many debt weapons cost little to no money, they can work just as well for the single mother or working student as they can for the independent business owner and W-2 wage earner. They can work wonders in a variety of ways, and the key is to determine if you are one of the people who can get what they want more quickly and safely by using these. And who knows, you might be one of the many people who already have some and just simply don't even know it. VIP has sponsors and alliances with institutions and individuals that provide our students preferred access to debt weapons. However, we do not sell debt weapons. We are simply connected to the best possible sources and are able to provide updates about them weekly. And it can take a lot of organization and research to know which are available where and what it takes to get them. Literally, though, anyone can experience extraordinary benefits from proper use of debt weapons, and we're going to review the basics again now before we reveal exact steps that you'll need to take in order to access specifically business debt weapons. There are 7 primary reasons to start using debt weapons as quickly as possible, whether personal or business. And we cover these details in nearly all of our trainings because using them consistently and correctly is contingent upon your ability to understand their value. The first and most important benefit is that debt weapons can rapidly increase your cash flow. The more cash flow you have, the more lifestyle and business choices you will have. Secondly, debt weapons compress amortization schedules, which allows you to pay off your loan balances in a fraction of the time. They'll also allow you to replace the inadequacies of your bank accounts. Many people never give any thought to their checking and savings accounts being worthless. Sure, they're convenient and they're safe as well as liquid, but otherwise they have little to no value. Debt weapons can allow you to earn on your money all the way throughout the year, whereas your bank accounts allow your income to sit unemployed for the majority of every single month. They can also help you invest more quickly and safely. You can use many of these debt weapons as down payments on real estate, for example, or as fix-up costs on the same properties. You can also use them as a source of capital or for education or coaching for both typical and non-conventional opportunities. Even personal debt weapons can be used for marketing or staffing a business. Debt weapons seemingly provide endless uses as vehicles to accelerate your goals. Debt weapons also minimize the total interest costs when they're used properly. We demonstrate that through the 100% debt-free for life, including mortgages training, where you'll see in one example how they can prevent as much as 80% of total interest costs on all loans, while also driving your credit scores higher. For example, some debt weapons even allow you to hide various balances from your credit reports, which causes an enormous positive impact to your credit scores. Finally, access to debt weapons can cause tremendous safety for you and your family. As long as you can remain responsible and disciplined, there are no downsides to having debt weapons. Now, debt weapons generally offer more than one benefit each when used properly, although they don't all achieve the same results. Because debt weapons change so frequently and we have limited time in this chapter, we'll put the definitions of each of these acronyms inside the Cash Flow Cruncher. That's the comprehensive spreadsheet that you'll be sent for free when you complete the brief feedback form at the end of the class. The 4 most important questions to ask before you can benefit from any debt weapon include: which debt weapon should I apply for next? Where should I go to get the best debt weapon for me? When is the right time to apply for my next debt weapon? And what purpose will it serve once I'm approved for it? So as you're taking notes, what you want to write down is which, where, when, and why. VIP is updated every week on debt weapon guidelines and where to get them. It's taken us over a decade to understand the right questions to ask and how to locate the answers to these questions. And we've even had to build a questionnaire and tracking process just to keep it straight and understand the application of each. This process helps our coaching members know how to properly call banks, credit unions, and private lenders, as well as research on websites to get the right debt weapons for them when ready. And by us tracking them, it saves everyone else up to 20 hours each week of research. Some of the coaching members who pay us to enroll in our services consider this one of the greatest benefits of the program because it prevents them from reinventing an already well-polished wheel. One of the most consistent qualifiers between debt weapons, which you must take note of, is that you should not apply for any debt weapon without first having a 700 personal FICO credit score. This rule of thumb is very important. It's best to consider the lowest of the 3 main credit scores when preparing to apply for a new debt weapon. With a 700 or better low FICO credit score, you can generally obtain between $2,000 and $150,000 per debt weapon. If you have trouble with fiscal responsibility, you should limit the available credit to only what you are capable of using carefully. If you are capable of being responsible with such a powerful tool, even if it requires a coach, you might be surprised to learn that you should never be done looking for more debt weapons. Now, typically the safest pace is to work towards accessing at least 2 debt weapons each year, but no more than 5, barring extenuating circumstances, of course. Now, keep in mind, there are only a handful of these tools where your credit scores do not impact your ability to get the debt weapon. One specific debt weapon that doesn't factor credit is called the infinite banking concept, which can be incredibly powerful. Once you complete the training on the website and share your feedback, you'll be emailed access to other free trainings that pull the curtain back on the infinite banking concept, along with other amazing debt weapons. So make sure you fill out your feedback form and make sure those details are legible for us. All in all, debt weapons create safety for your business and your family.
Have you ever wondered what the difference is between your personal and your business credit scores? I mean, why are we even talking about personal credit during a business credit training? By knowing the differences, both can be leveraged individually as well as together in ways that will rocket launch your business and other financial goals. To help you maximize your knowledge of both personal and business debt weapons, VIP is always looking for the best resources in the industry. And nearly a decade of disappointing research into companies that are overpromising and under-delivering, we were finally contacted by a nationally known expert out of LA. He's the general manager of a large business credit coaching firm and currently helps manage a team of bankers and administrators as well as staff that has funded millions of dollars and improved the credit of over 25,000 people. They're one of the most trusted and credible authorities in the business and personal credit optimization space. And I've spent several days a week just discussing some of the tougher questions with this organization in order to help you understand some of the benefits and the disadvantages of getting involved with the business credit world. So let's start by discussing personal credit so the differences later are more apparent to you. Personal credit scores are calculated by using a complex algorithm that processes the credit history that's data being stored through three primary credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. Now, under the guidelines that VIP follows, where qualifying for various debt weapons becomes so valuable, there are specific credit scores that the viewer should be working towards. The FICO personal credit score that everyone should work towards until they have it is a 760. If you do not have a 760 or better, then you have work to do. And if you have less than a 760 personal FICO score, that's okay, because there are many steps that consumers can take to increase a personal credit score in a relatively short period of time. Although 760 is the target score, if you don't have at least a 700 minimum FICO score, then achieving that goal becomes the first priority along with plugging leaks inside the cash flow cruncher. With a 700 credit score or better, we can then begin looking for the best personal debt weapons. However, having less than a 700 credit score does not mean that you cannot get business credit scores along with business credit. It just means that you won't be able to access a number of the other debt weapons that are available to you without it. To learn more about the credit scoring maximization solutions that are far more effective than credit repair, make sure you watch the two-part credit scoring chapters inside the 100% Debt-Free for Life training, and also make sure you ask us about it during your free personal implementation coaching session so that we can get you pointed toward the right solutions for yourself. Now, in addition to our highly competent business credit partners, VIP has been fortunate to study under one of the creators of the original FICO credit score. His name is John Olsheimer. Now, John was introduced to us by Edward Jameson, one of the most respected credit attorneys, and together we were able to build what's known as the 760 Club, which is recognized nationally as one of the most advanced credit education and enhancement systems available. And we regularly work with other pioneers of the credit industry to bring you some of the most relevant and up-to-date information that you need to make the right decisions pertaining to your personal credit scores as well. Now, there are two big reasons to maximize your personal credit scores. The first is very obvious, and that's that credit scores significantly reduce expenses, both through interest rates and insurance premiums. For example, an investor who purchases real estate could see up to $1,000 or more in an increase to cash flow every single month by making credit scores a priority. Secondly, the even more valuable reason is that it will enhance your borrowing power to have great personal credit scores. And when you have strong borrowing power, your financial goals can be achieved far more quickly. So let's go over the personal credit scoring breakdown before we dive into the business credit scoring secrets. The FICO credit scoring system ranges from 350 to 850. And the five main categories of information that the FICO score evaluates, along with their approximate values, are first, payment history, worth about 35% of your credit score. Late payments, as we all know, have the single greatest negative impact on your scores and account for a total of a third of your total score. So how frequent and how recent the late payments are factored as well. In other words, a 60-day late payment made 1 month ago will count more against you than a 90-day late payment made many years ago. The utilization ratio is worth 30% of the score. The ratio between your total balances in relation to your total available credit on revolving accounts is called your utilization ratio, and it's one of the more important factors in the FICO credit scoring algorithm. Keep in mind that paying your bills on time, although worth the most between all 5 elements, is still only worth 1/3 of the score. These other 4 elements are valued at 2/3 your credit score, so therefore it's important to understand the other 4 and positively manipulate them at all times. Owing a great deal of money on many accounts or even maxing out on various credit cards can indicate that a person is overextended and is more likely to make some payments late or not at all. So therefore a score can be penalized for that. The third category is the length of credit history, worth 15% of your FICO score, meaning that it takes into account how long your credit accounts have been established overall. How long specific credit accounts have been established and the date of last activity on certain accounts is a very important element and can also be manipulated positively when you understand how. We can talk about that during your free coaching session. Fourth is the mixture of credit, worth 10% of the score. The FICO formula will consider your mixture of credit cards, your retail accounts, your installment loans, and finance company accounts, along with your mortgages. And your score takes into account what kinds of credit you currently have, as well as how many of each of those accounts. The score also looks at the total number of accounts that you have in general. And the final category includes the new credit and inquiries, which accounts for 10%. So research has indicated that opening several credit accounts in a short period of time represents a greater short-term risk. Therefore, it's very important to strategically design how often you open your debt weapons. Multiple requests will reduce your score because it looks like you're either trying to get a high amount of credit, possibly because of cash flow challenges, or that you're being rejected by other lenders and are needing to apply elsewhere. You'll begin to learn how often you should apply for new accounts and debt weapons during your free coaching session and beyond. The fact is, all 5 of these categories can be proactively manipulated in order to drive your credit scores higher very quickly in some cases. So it's important to learn what you can be doing in order to be aware and active inside your personal credit scores. But also, personal credit scores can be complicated, and it can take years of well-disciplined borrowing to establish great scores. Just keep in mind that any personal challenges that you've had with any one of these factors can be overcome more quickly than you might think. And the best place to start learning these strategies is during your free coaching session, where we can look at your individual circumstances that are impacting your scores now. Because of our background and our expertise, we can easily determine the best few strategies that would have the fastest short-term impact. So in order to accomplish these latter 3 steps in the 7-point system that we've been covering during this training, you must first complete these 4 relatively simple steps. Some viewers have already completed some of these steps prior to watching this training, and others may need to start doing so now. That's okay. But we'll be able to determine where you are in your process, as well as which debt weapons will likely be most beneficial to your goals at that time. The reason that we're here now, though, is to discuss business credit scores, not personal credit scores. Business credit scores work totally differently than personal credit scores. And unlike personal credit scores, business credit is not automatically established by a reporting bureau, so it must be established proactively. Business credit scores are calculated on a 0 to 100 scale instead of using the 350 to 850 scale, and they are used to calculate a business's risk of going late on business obligations within the next 12 months. Most businesses do not have a credit score at all. The ability to borrow for your business in the name of your business and then use the business credit to expedite the growth of your business is the key focus as we work with you and your company. Another thing that's so special about this is that you don't have to have a big business to put business credit to work for you. Business credit scores are based really on only one factor. How have you paid your bills over the past 12 months? So one could make the argument that the sooner you get started, the better. You've got to start establishing business credit early in order to be able to use it. The earlier part of this training demonstrated several different examples of business credit and how it was able to offer just one company many, many different financial solutions. If you have any need for business credit in your goals, then there's no time to waste, and your next step needs to be to get on the calendar for your free session. Now, obviously, one of the first steps is to establish your entity, and once you do that, you have the ability to access the right types of business accounts and then pay those business accounts as agreed or early, and you'll instantly establish an excellent business credit score of 80 or higher. So let's go over the scoring model. Now, as long as payment expectations are met over a period of time, you can establish a score of 100. This indicates that your payment history implies creditors can expect payment may come early, which is a 100 score. Now, payments within an early payment period can also earn you a 90 credit score or higher, where payments are prompt can earn you an 80 credit score or higher. But if payment comes 14 days beyond the terms, that's when you start to get the lower scores. That would be a 70 credit score or higher. A payment that comes 21 days beyond terms is a 60 credit score, and payments that come 30 days beyond the payment terms earns a 50 credit score or less. If your payment is coming 60 days beyond the terms, you'll have a 40 credit score or less, and when a payment comes 90 days beyond terms, a 30 credit score or less is given. Finally, if payment comes 120 days beyond terms, a 20 credit score or less is given, and less is actually unavailable. Less than a 20 is unavailable. So there are three main business credit bureau reporting agencies that have to be understood in order to begin building proper business credit. The first that we want to discuss today is the Dun & Bradstreet, also known as D&B. The second is Equifax Business, and the final is Experian Business. The first main credit score that's used in the business credit world is known as a Paydex score, which is provided by D&B. And the exact definition from Dun & Bradstreet is the D&B Paydex score is D&B's unique dollar-weighted numerical indicator of how a firm paid its bills over the past year based on trade experiences that have been reported to D&B by various vendors. The next, Equifax Small Business, offers a business credit scoring credit model known as Equifax Small Business Enterprise / Equifax Small Business Credit Risk Score. Now, Equifax provides business credit evaluations for over 22 million small businesses and corporations, and the score was created to enhance risk assessment by predicting the probability of a new or existing small business customer becoming seriously delinquent on supplier accounts or even bankrupt within a 12-month period. You'll notice a trend as it pertains to this 12-month period in the business credit world. You may also notice that Equifax does provide both consumer and business credit risk models, but there are considerable differences between the two. The third and final is Experian IntelliScore. Experian provides business credit evaluations for 27 million small business and corporations, and some of the items that are listed on Experian's report include business credit scores and business credit summaries, key facts about the business, corporate registration and contact information, summaries of collections and payments, as well as uniform commercial code filing information. They might also include banking, insurance, and leasing information, as well as bankruptcy filings, judgment filings, and tax lien filings. Excellent business credit is what we need to talk about here. All that is required for excellent business credit scores is one account on your report that is paid as agreed. Once even one account has reported that you've paid as agreed, you will instantly have an 80 credit score or higher. If you continue to pay your accounts on time or even early, your score will increase above 80 towards the high of 100. But even with an 80 credit score, most merchants will approve you for credit. So let's spend a few minutes discussing the process to establish excellent business credit scores. To establish an excellent score, to get approved for business credit, most lenders want to see that you have 1 to 3 vendor trade accounts for reporting. Vendor accounts are creditors who extend credit on short terms and then report your account to the business credit bureaus. Vendors usually will approve you for short-term credit on terms such as net 30. Even if you buy $5 using your credit, they'll then report the account to the business credit reporting agencies, and your new excellent business credit scores will be established. Once you're approved and you use 3 vendor accounts and they report to your business credit report, You establish excellent scores, and most merchants will then approve you for more. Most merchants only require an 80 business credit score and 1 to 3 vendor accounts that are reporting in order to approve you. If you open 1 to 3 accounts and pay them as agreed, you'll automatically and immediately have an 80 business credit score or higher and qualify for business credit with most merchants. To be clear, this is credit with major merchants. And depending on a number of variables, examples of merchants are companies like Staples, Home Depot, Chevron, Lowe's, Walmart, and hundreds more. Now, ideally, within 1 year, your business credit profile and scores can help you secure 100% unsecured credit lines for your business. And the ultimate goal is to eventually do so in the business name only. VIP has spent the past dozen years researching the marketplace for solutions, which has proven to be very disappointing. With little regulation, the industry has become a cesspool of overpromising and underdelivering. And the reality is that, like personal credit, business credit takes discipline and time. And without proper steps, one will spend a great deal of time and money paying someone who guarantees them $50,000 only to come up empty-handed. When an individual or a small business owner is interested in taking the next step in order to get access to these tools, there are really only a couple of solutions and price points which are capable of offering a return on the time and money spent. Because the business credit process and underwriting conditions are ever changing, books or products struggle to remain accurate and current long enough to provide any type of long-term benefit or relevance, which means that the only type of viable solutions that are available to consumers and small business owners that are looking for proper steps that are timely and current in order to build their business credit include software or coaching programs. The most popular do-it-yourself software in the entire business credit industry is called the Business Credit Funding Suite. And this is by far the easiest software system to help business owners achieve the most common business credit scoring and business funding goals. But you've better be the type A do-it-yourselfer who's capable of self-discipline and accountability. Otherwise, any dollar amount that you spend might be wasted. Let's spend a couple minutes taking a look at what that system is. The Business Funding Suite, again, the most common software that you'll find in this industry, was created by some of the most respected and well-known people, and it helps you quickly build a positive business profile and score. And then it accesses hundreds of merchants and vendors for you. In a few simple steps, you'll first ensure that you have a foundation where you'll be approved, and your cash portal even interfaces directly with Experian, Equifax, and Dun & Bradstreet, getting you access to reports and scores right away through the online account. The Funding Suite has one of the largest supplies of vendors and merchants that you'll find anywhere. And as you choose the best vendors, you're able to read all their program details and know exactly how to apply and be approved. You can monitor your trade lines being put into your report right through your CRA interface, and the CRA stands for Credit Reporting Agency Interface. Now you can monitor your trade lines that are being put into your report right through your Credit Reporting Agency Interface. Once you have the trade lines established, your Funding Suite will then give you access to most major merchants who offer business credit. This is an example of what it looks like here. In one click, you'll know if you have a profile reporting with major business credit bureaus, and you'll know how many trade lines they are actually reporting for you. You can even access and track your business credit scores as they increase while you build business credit all through your Funding Suite. Now, for the type B'er that doesn't typically remain disciplined enough for software programs to actually pay for themselves, the preferred direction is something far more personalized and intuitive. VIP provides its own coaching system to help people maximize cash flow and pay off all their mortgage and non-mortgage debts. Therefore, we set a very high standard when it comes to coaching. So as a result, business credit solutions where you're actually taken by the hand and carefully shown exactly what you need to do next based on your unique circumstances have proven to be very difficult to find. Over the past 12 years, only 2 companies have met or exceeded our expectations well enough where we were comfortable referring people who were desperate for guidance. If this type of solution is found to be best for your business credit needs, then we're happy to point you to a company who can assist you with each step. Luckily, our high referral volume has earned us preferred relationships with both the creators of the Business Credit Suite software program as well as companies that are currently providing the leading coaching solutions, which means that whether you are more of a type A or a type B personality, we've requested that both providers match the industry low prices of our in-house coaching program. If you're not yet an existing VIP coaching member, the total price for either option is $5,110 if you come through VIP. The discounted cost to our existing VIP coaching members is $4,210. And finally, if you signed up as a VIP Debt-Free for Life coaching member within the past 30 days, and you'd also like to focus on your business credit while simultaneously eliminating your debts, then you'll receive the largest discount of $1,410 for a total of $3,700. I should probably mention there is a way to get another significant discount off of either of these solutions. Simply complete a few brief feedback questions for us about this training, and by doing so, you'll help us know what you liked and didn't like about this training, which gives us the ability to improve the free education that we're offering the community. And one last suggestion, because this is a direct investment for your business, make sure you talk to your tax professional about the tax deductions that are involved, and you'll likely reduce the price of the program even further. Unfortunately, it's very difficult to build business credit without assistance, which makes it easy for business owners to fall prey to deceptive marketing tactics. Any company who guarantees funding amounts in any specific period of time should cause you a red flag. The truth is, there's no way to know the specific dollar amount that you can expect or in what time frame. If you take the proper steps, you can achieve results. The steps are the secret sauce. That's it. There is no magic potion other than taking action. As long as you can follow a step-by-step customized game plan, you can succeed in building business credit and accessing business funding. And gradually, you can separate your personal credit from your business and other financial goals. Don't forget, once we have that feedback form, you'll be eligible for one free implementation phone coaching session where we can review your starting point and whether these tools make sense to pursue with or without our help. And don't worry, if you've already had your free coaching session through the Debt-Free for Life training, you're offered one additional free coaching session just for attending today's training and providing your feedback. During the session, we can determine together if a more personalized solution would be beneficial for you. It's always best to have your session within the next 10 days because the free sessions always have a waiting list and are provided on a first-come, first-served basis. To reserve your spot now, just go to freecoachingcalendar.com. Your cash flow cruncher will be sent within the confirmation email. And you'll also get access to the free 3D affiliate qualification, which means that you can even start earning up to 6 figures per year in addition to what you're making now by just sharing our free classes with other people. Finally, keep your eyes open for the emails announcing other fabulous free trainings that are provided to you exclusively from VIP. Also, I'd like to thank you in advance for only selecting the box for the free coaching session if you intend to follow through with it. We're very busy with coaching students and want to prioritize our time and yours if you want to learn about these resources. Therefore, please make sure that you respect our busy schedules by only selecting the box in scheduling if you intend to get your session. This is your chance to determine if and how the systems that we're building can improve your life. If you want to expedite this process, just simply go to freecoachingcalendar.com or call to reserve your session at 866-969-2738. That's toll free, 866-969-2738. Hopefully you learned something new here today. Please be generous with your feedback, and we look forward to changing the social economics of this country one household at a time, starting with you. Make it a great day.